Man, how y'all doing today? This is Worth Beeman, and this is straight to the point. Um, I love the way God speaks to us through some of the smallest things. And if you're really in tune with Him, then the things He can say to you can seem like the most insignificant things to other people, but then your knowledge of who he is and what he's trying to say to you, it sparks. And if it sparks the way it's supposed to, it can just make you shout because the revelation of what he's trying to tell you is is just a wonderful thing. Now, I had today at work, I had to, get together some cubicles and whatnots and try to have them prepared for whether or not employees, some employees were coming back or, to work from the office or whatnots. But it's my job to have that stuff ready. Nevertheless, I was hooking up a computer and I grabbed a network cable. And when I grabbed the network cable, it kind of made me mad because it was all sticky and black and nasty, and it's just like, what in the world? Now, for those of you that don't know, this is what a network cable looks like. You know what I'm saying? It's your basic Ethernet cable. So I looked at this cable and I'm like, ugh. But of course, there were two other cables that were on the table with this one that were in that cubicle. So I reached for one of the prettier cables. And as I inspected this cable, I realized this cable was broken at the clip. You see that clip there that clips into? That was broken. It would not go in. Every time you plugged it in, it would fall out. Plug it in, fall out. Plug it in, fall out. That was just a waste of time. I wanted it to work because it was a pretty one. I tested it with my cable tester, and it proved to be working, even though I had to hold one in. Uh, but it wasn't something I could use. It wasn't usable. I would have to cut this end off, take the sheet, cut the sheet, unravel the wires, and put a new RJ45 on the top. So that at the time, because I'm moving at a certain pace, or I have to move at a certain pace, that's just something I just got to set aside, and I can fix that later. The other pretty wire I grabbed, it was good on both ends. Plugged it up. Come to find out, that wire was faulty. Something within that wire, or maybe the wiring itself to the RJ45s, was no good. You know what I mean? And besides that, we had a lot of moving and whatnot going around. So that wire just may have been damaged. And you couldn't see it from where we sat because of the coating around it. You couldn't see the damage to the wire that was on the inside. So now I'm left with this ugly, sticky, dirty, what seems to be tar covered somehow cable. And when I plugged it up, guess what? It worked. It worked. It had no issues. The only problem with that cable is that it was dingy and old looking and sticky and dirty, and it didn't look like it should have ever worked. But it did. And that was my takeaway. That was my revelation right then, is because a good majority of people take a look at a person and you already formulate an opinion. You already think to yourself, well, this is not the type of person that can connect. This is not the type of person that can, you know, provide what I need, because of the simple fact of how they look, what they're wearing, you know what I mean, how they smell, how they just don't blend in to regular society as we look at it. But that person that we shun or push to the side or don't give enough credibility to because of how they look or how we think they should look could be the key to you getting to where you need to go. That could be the bridge. That person could be the bridge to you moving on to the next phase. You know what I'm saying? But we have to take the time to understand that just because it's pretty don't mean it ain't broken. Just because it's pretty doesn't mean it ain't wired wrong. That don't mean it ain't something wrong with it on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. That dirty, disgusting wire was plugged up, had the internet running, and I was able to move on to the next job. I was able to move on to the next cubicle. You see what I'm saying? Those who have ears, let them hear. Let them hear. Because this is not just idle chatter right now. If you ain't hearing me, then you're not listening to me. You know what I mean? You gotta listen in order to hear me right now. Because what I'm saying to you is a revelation that I believe God gave me this morning and told me to push out to everybody. But before I could push it out to anybody, I had to soak it up and engulf it and register it and understand what it was that he was trying to tell me, because I got issues myself. The way I treated that wire showed that I had no respect for it, none whatsoever. So if I had no respect for it, how was I ever going to know that it was what I needed at that moment, at that time? That's what we need to register in our minds. Stop looking at people as if they don't add up or they can't contribute because of how they look, because of what they're wearing, because they're not a part of the in crowd. They don't look the part. They might not look the part, but they might be everything you need, because the ones that look the part are broken and tainted and they can't connect you to nothing except for more work, more disappointment, and more headache. You see what I'm saying? Ooh, Jesus, take the wheel. Hey, man, this is Worth Beaming the Third. I'm out of here. Y'all can tell I'm excited by this message. I don't know why it hit me the way it did, but yo, I pray that y'all can take this, run with it, and understand it. Utilize it and patch it into your everyday life, man. For real, for real. I'm out. Why?